Okay, good morning everybody. We're doing another vocabulary class and today it's comparing and contrasting. So lots of words with to compare and to contrast. And I know I'm going to start straight away with the idea that I know you can compare something with or compare something to. And so both of those prepositions are possible with the verb compare. And you do feel like there's a slight difference between the two of them. And the difference is when you compare X to Y, you're pointing out a likeness, some kind of similarity. Whereas when you compare X with Y, you could be pointing out similarities and differences. So it's more general, but very often either preposition is acceptable. Okay, so let's have a look. X and Y look, appear, are, seem, become remarkably, strikingly, vaguely similar. So I'm trying to give you some adverbs that work with similar, and these work very well. And of course, remarkably and strikingly mean very similar. Vaguely means slightly similar. Yeah, remember this word vague, when it's not clear, it's vague. So vaguely similar. And notice that all of these are copular verbs, and that's because we need a copular verb when we use an adjective. Yeah, I am hot. Only copular verbs will allow an adjective as the subject complement. So that's why they're all copular verbs. Okay, we also have bear little resemblance to something, bear a faint resemblance to something, bear a striking resemblance to something. And again, a little resemblance, a faint resemblance. These two mean slight, yeah? These mean a little bit similar, yeah? So if your uncle bears a faint resemblance to you, that means that he looks a little bit like you, but not very much like you. If he bears a striking resemblance to you, that means he looks exactly like you, okay? So all of those are good, and we use this word resemblance when two things look the same. So that is particularly about appearance, okay? And we would use it as X bears little resemblance to Y. Okay, what about X is altogether different from Y? Yeah, this altogether different means completely different, entirely different, fundamentally different, or radically different. And all of those adverbs work very well with different. Yeah, they collocate well with that adjective different. And it's the preposition from with different. With similar, it's always to. Yeah, X is remarkably similar to Y. Or X and Y are remarkably similar. But yeah, it's similar to, and it's resemblance to. And I told you earlier, compare X to Y is about similarities, it's about likenesses. And so the to preposition seems to be for similar things, whereas from seems to be for different things. Okay, you can draw a contrast between X and Y, or you can make a contrast between X and Y. And this is where you want to contrast two different things, yeah? When you want to show their differences. When you're contrasting, you're showing differences and not similarities, yeah? You can say that X stands in marked contrast to Y. For example, the results of this poll, of this survey, stand in marked contrast to our expectations. And so what actually happened stands in marked contrast to what we expected to happen, yeah? And so you can certainly use this verb, stand in marked contrast. Stark contrast is excellent as well, and it means extreme contrast. And sharp works very well with contrast too. So if you want to say two things are completely different, you can say X stands in sharp contrast to Y. And certainly very often, I think, if you're a scientist, results are very often surprising. And so you can say the results stand in marked contrast or stark contrast to our expectations. Okay, you can also draw and make again. Yeah, remember it was draw and make here. Draw and make a fair comparison. So contrast and comparison take the same verbs. You can draw a fair comparison between X and Y, or a favourable one, or a useful one, or an impartial one. And all of those work with comparison. So a fair comparison, yeah, you're being fair, yeah, when you make that comparison.